Greetings and felicitations.
Okay, here comes the first round.
Boom. And
Jeez, that was just
boom.
unnecessary.
You kidding me? You can't be out of range? What?
Greetings and felicitations, YouTube. Jarl of the Appian Way here with that battle I promised you. This is me versus Hector. He pretty much challenged me to consider Hector as a much better faction than I currently rank it. And I rank Hector as one of the lowest tier factions. He challenged me to play wider than normal Hector army against Dardania. I really like Dardania. People who watch me know that Dardania is absolutely one of my favorite factions in this game. He challenged me to play Hector, and I said, and the question was asked by Airrunner, can you play Hector without Corybantes? How would you do it? And I said, okay, well, if I were to figure that out, here's what I would do. I would bring 4 Trojan defenders, 2 Hector's Chosen, a pair of swordsmen on the 4400 rule set. I'd bring a Minotaur, a Fighter Ravager hero, heavy Trojan chariot, and Trojan warriors with the remaining funds left over. And I would work with something along these lines. He looked at the army and he said, yeah, it sounds about right, but wait a minute, you only brought 1 chariot? Nah, I don't think I'd like it so much. Okay, well, still, here we are. He brought a pair of Savage Centaur warriors, he brought an Archer Skirmisher hero, he brought a Centaur champion, 3 Dardanian defenders, 2 heavy Trojan chariots, a pair of heavy Anatolian skirmishers, I didn't see them coming, a Dardanian sworn fighter, 4 Dardanian rabble, 1 Dardanian mob. Right away, he starts moving up with his Archer Skirmisher. I decide I'm going to lose the chariot battle anyway. I'm going to send my heavy chariots forward to chase his Archer Skirmisher back. This is the battlefield of Ares. I'm marching my army into the middle. I need my troops to be unmolested by this Archer Skirmisher hero as much as possible. I had no idea the Savage Centaur warriors were back here. He felt that I was just kind of suiciding my heavy Trojan chariots into him, and he was like, what are you doing, bro? Don't just suicide your chariots. Are you giving them to me for free? And I'm like, no, I'm getting value out of them by keeping your hero away from my army. We were communicating the whole time. And he's like, well, okay, I'm perfectly content to shoot at your chariots. And sure enough, he starts killing off models. But, I mean, I'm falling back. I'm not going to just let his chariots run me over. And I'm content to continue to put pressure on his hero with my chariots as we march our armies closer together. Savage Centaur warriors still hidden on the western, the eastern forest range over here. I've got my hero together with the Fighter Ravager. I think I could use both of them to easily KO the Archer Skirmisher if I can ever knock him off of his chariot. But I'm also doing the math in my head here, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of forces that I'm going to have to deal with. The Dardanian defenders, the chariots are going to be a challenge, but I'm going to deploy relatively wide and try and cover my flanks as best I can. I mean, of course, he's perfectly capable of just going all the way around the map and getting around behind me. The thing is, though, I'm still feeling pretty confident here. So here comes the hero off into the corner, and I see this as a good opportunity. I'm going to try and get in here while he's still trying to turn around. He pops the closest chariot. That actually saved him from getting meleeed, and I just couldn't get it. At the time, Death and Airrunner were saying, man, you're going too wide. You need to keep your forces closer together, talking to me. And I'm like, well, I got to keep him from outflanking me. So here's what I do. He's going to try and attack me here. And rather than let him outflank me, I get my Minotaur and one of my heavy Trojan defenders in position to push them back. Still no attempt at the infantry lines engaging. My units are getting tired just walking over here. I probably could have let him come to me. That shot scared me when he starts shooting at my Trojan defenders. I really, really don't want that. So I'm shifting my heavy infantry over towards the right because that's where he's been showing he wants to put his chariots and Centaur champions, and sure enough, he has his other chariot. Just goes straight for my Trojan warriors. So I quickly try and get this Trojan defender. I try to give it an attack order to intercept, but of course it's really difficult for dudes running on foot to intercept chariots. Here come the javelins from the Dardanian defenders. My Minotaur got a little bit overextended there, chasing some chariots, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to my hero's side. And as you can see, he's going to bring his chariots all the way over to this side. He's going to bring his cavalry all the way over to this side. And he's going to start bringing this cavalry around over here. And my weaker flank is going to get swarmed by the very units that I had just shifted to the right to use. This is a disadvantage of Hector. Hector is losing out on a ton of mobility. I still happen to have 9 of my 12 chariots in this unit, and I'm going to have to try and find some way to get value out of them. As you can see over here, I finally get all my infantry over here, and I'm like, well, great, all of the chariots and the heavy infantry are over there now. Come on! So I'm going to go ahead and get my swordsmen engaged here. They're not that great for this kind of engagement. They're the perfect unit to fight Dardania and rabble with. And I've also got my Hector's Chosen up here now. And here comes the cavalry charge right on time. I'm going to go ahead and get this Hector's Chosen into the flank here. You can see my swordsmen are already starting to fall apart. I see the heavy Anatolian skirmishers at this point, and I was like, heavy Anatolian skirmishers? Really? And he said, oh yeah, Air Runner even defended the pick as well, calling them one of the best value skirmishers out there. And this is the point at which I recognize their Centaur warriors. I turn around just in time to meet the charge with my Hector's Chosen. Less than ideal for Hector's Chosen, but, you know, it's okay. I'm going to also try and get my heavy Trojan chariots involved in this as well. They'll do just fine against Savage Centaur warriors. He rear charges this Hector's Chosen. Look at their morale, already dipped to 31. My swordsmen, my Trojan defenders over here, and even my my Trojan warriors, they've all broken now at this stage. I've cleaned up a Dardanian rabble with my Trojan defenders, but that's not too terribly great. And look at this. My hero and the Minotaur, during all of that, which had his micro-attention, break the Archer Skirmisher's chariot, and he's now routing, and I'm left with options on how to deal with him. I have my chariot in the vicinity, too. I'm going to go ahead and intercept the Dardanian rabble. I misclick an order, and I leave the hero alone. I order all of them to disengage, to attack, and try and help out the infantry engagement. I wanted to leave one of them chasing the hero just so that there was no way he could return. And look at his heavy cavalry. His heavy Trojan chariots. 69, 70 kills, 125 kills now, getting right into the flanks of the Hector's Chosen. He wanted to remind me, he's like, hey, Appius, you do know Hector's Chosen are medium infantry, right? Yes, I know. I know they won't do so hot against chariots, but look at my own chariots. I've still, even though they were heavily hurt in the earlier stages, I'm managing to do just fine. 69 kills and counting. I did get them into the heavy Anatolian skirmishers, but now I've got Centaur champions to deal with. The Centaur warriors were an okay matchup. I've already dealt with this heavy Trojan chariot just by the virtue of the fact that I had Trojan defenders in this melee blob. I order my my Minotaur to chase the hero. And it was a bit, I felt at the time that was a mistake. I was like, I'm going to need that Minotaur down here helping out the infantry engagement, helping me turn the morale. You can see here, Dardanian sworn fighters are starting to rout. My heavy Trojan chariots are now broken, close to shattering, and they're at only, gosh, I can't even keep the 81 kills. They're actually going to get killed to a man. I'm not going to have any of them left. But I'm starting to do the work on the other flank. This Dardanian defender is getting chased off now. I have a Trojan defender that's in a lot of trouble with a healthy Dardanian defender here, and another one coming around the flank. I order my Hector's Chosen to come around and help out with that fight. I activate Blood Sacrifice. I've been timid in using it. I don't like using abilities that cost health to activate, but I activate the Blood Sacrifice there. That's going to buff everybody in the area for more morale, more damage, give them more staying power, because I realize I need everybody to last long enough for me to get my Minotaur back to the fight. I got re-engaged with the hero, I shatter him, and the Minotaur is absolutely going to kill this man. It still says he's shattered, but it also shows him fighting still. And there he goes. He headbutts the guy's head off. And meanwhile out here, as you can see, I've got mobs, rabble, centaurs, chariots, and heavy Anatolian skirmishers. Yeah, that's right, heavy Anatolian skirmishers to deal with. I activate the Aristea. This is going to give me more healing. It's also going to give me his abilities back. I want his Blood Sacrifice again. I even want his Terrify ability again. And unfortunately for me, I misclick his Terrify. I accidentally target the heavy Anatolian skirmishers when I meant to target a Centaur champion with it. Really hurts me here. You see Dardanian defenders getting mowed down by heavy Anatolian skirmisher fire. And now they're targeting, or they will soon target, my Hector's Chosen, and they are completely overwhelmed, outnumbered, and in a bad way here. Chariots, rabble, defenders, they're wavering. One morale soon to break. I've activated the Bull Rush on my Minotaur just so I could get him out here. He gets head-to-head with the routing, shattered heavy Trojan chariot and breaks it on the way. And his Bull Rush is already done, so he's already very tired. He's getting shot by by the Dardanian defenders that I didn't even see coming. I am desperate to get him over here and activate his Savage Roar just in time too, because here comes the Centaur Champions. I have a regrouped Trojan Defender coming in here. It's wit's end. I activate Terrify on this Trojan Chariot. Got to get it out of here. He brings in Dardanian defenders. There goes the Savage Roar, and it affects all of the infantry I'd just been fighting. And now I'm able to turn my focus and attention over towards the Centaur Champions and the Dardanian defenders, as I was just able to activate the Savage Roar in time to rout all of this. He's got another fresh Dardanian defender coming, and off in the distance, this Trojan defender has regrouped 13 models, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get them involved. Look at my Hector's Chosen over here. They're broken, and I think this is a mistake. Hazard is going to go ahead and disengage my from chasing off my Chosen to get in here. I activate the Ares Rage on my hero at this point because I want him to be unbreakable, because I think this battle is on a knife's edge. I was very close to losing this battle, but the timely arrival of my Minotaur has now shattered the Savage Centaur warriors that he could have used to chase off my Hector's Chosen. But look, they regrouped. In that brief moment, they regrouped. I still have another Hector's Chosen in this fight. It's can I beat these Dardanian defenders with my hero, with my Minotaur? Here comes the heavy Anatolian skirmishers. I activate Bull Rush just so I could get my Minotaur out onto the other side of the Dardanian defenders, because I need to find a way to flank. I turn around my Hector's Chosen. In a last desperate play, maybe I could do something to hold my flanks. I get the Minotaur into the flanks of the Dardanian defenders. My hero is doing just fine. He's out of control. The heavy Anatolian skirmishers are still shooting their javelins at Hector's Chosen, and this fight really down to the wire. There's still a whole minute left in this. I broke and shatter both of the Dardanian defenders. Well, actually not shattered. They're both just broken. I refuse to stop chasing them. My hero is still, he has his rage going, so I can't change his targeting anyway. I use my Hector's Chosen to target the other one and chase that one. I cannot let them regroup. It is just my Minotaur against heavy Anatolian skirmishers, and man, oh man, do I need that Minotaur to kill them before they can use the rest of their ammo. Meanwhile, out here, I activate the Terrify just to make sure that these units stay routing. I cannot afford to let him bring them back. Hector's Chosen catching the Dardanian defenders. I'm bringing another Dardanian defender in. I've got this Hector's Chosen broken, being chased by Centaur Champions, and that shattered one of the Anatolian skirmishers. I use the Minotaur, and I attack the next one. That shatters that one, and boom! I won as Hector against Dardania, against one of the best players in Troy, if not the best player in Troy right now. What? So consider me converted. Consider me converted. I have not been giving Hector anywhere near enough credit. I played Hector against a really strong player with a really strong faction, and I managed to pull a victory. Afterwards, he was saying, 9 times out of 10, he's still certain that Dardania can win that fight, and I would agree with that assessment. I do believe 9 games out of 10, Dardania would beat Hector of Troy, but all it takes is that one time, especially in a competitive set, and I'm just flabbergasted at the result. I've known about the impact Hector's Chosen can bring. They both picked up 2 XP chevrons, 270 kills, 165 kills. I've known about the impact a Minotaur can bring, 2 XP chevrons gained, 71 kills. I felt that considering the battlefield shape, that having the one chariot was good enough. As you can see, he managed 117 and 154 kills against Hector. That's a big deal. The Dardanian Sworn Fighters, 107 kills. Again, against Hector, a really big deal. 144. I mean, we're talking, I took 869 casualties in that fight. I only had 177 left over. Whew. Man, oh man, oh man. That battle had me jumping out of my seat. I couldn't believe the impact that I was able to have with this fight. I was only able to kill 955 of the enemy, and against Dardania, that's usually not enough. But this time, it was. I limited the impact to the Archer Skirmisher hero. He was not able to kill my infantry with only 28 kills. The rabble, whatever. The rabble, I wasn't falling for it. I killed the rabble and the mob just fine. It was a battle about how do I deal with the chariots, how do I deal with the Dardanian defenders, how do I deal with the Archer Skirmisher hero, and I had answers for everything, even with a small army like Hector of Troy. Anyway, I hope you liked that one. I know I did. Ta-ta, I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.